What's going on, guys? Kevin here to bring you a brand new video where today we are going to talk about a TV show that I haven't finished watching, but I did finish the first season of that I wanted to go over and review, and that is The Mandalorian. I wasn't really truly interested in watching this show for the longest time just because I felt like we already had enough Star Wars content and it was on Disney Plus also, which I'm not really that into Disney Plus in particular. But after some convincing from friends and hearing about it, I caved in and watched the first season. And I am actually super glad that I watched this show, despite all of that. I think this series, in every way, delivers. As long as you're a fan of Star Wars, you're gonna absolutely love this show. I feel like if you don't, I find that kind of surprising. But I mean, to each their own. But I mean, I feel like there's so much fan service in here that if you're a fan of Star Wars, you'll see stuff dispersed throughout and be like, wow, this is amazing. So yeah, the Mandalorian just it really just expands on this whole Star Wars universe and shows you a new side of it too that you haven't really seen before with this whole story of this bounty hunter who's trying to get rewards, and he finds this child, and he has to save the child, and he doesn't want it to die and whatnot. Definitely something we haven't really seen before at all. But at the same time, you can tell this is Star Wars with the really good visuals and just all the different creatures and worlds that you see throughout. And to an extent, you might be bounty hunting, since when could that be interesting? And yeah, I mean, but this show makes that really interesting, I feel like. But yeah, it's just super well done and really fun to watch, very immersive, and I feel like it, unlike the trilogy that we saw, especially with a movie like Rise of the Skywalker, this movie isn't afraid to make daring decisions when it comes to say killing someone off or showing something bad happening, whereas with movies like the new trilogy, it's they're kind of playing it safe. They don't want to show you the sad stuff, I guess. But this gets to that dark side, and I really like that. So with the Mandalorian, we have the story of a Mandalorian, a bounty hunter who's trying to get his money and just work to survive by hunting for bounties. And then he stumbles upon this child that he finds, and he wants to save it. And the child is awesome. As many people feel, I absolutely love the child. Any moment that he is on screen, it's just absolutely adorable, and I just love it all the way through. But at first, what I didn't get was why was this Mandalorian going back to get this child? So he delivers the child and he leaves, and then he's in the planet, and then he looks at this knob thing that the child was playing with, and he's like, wait, I should go back for him. I'm just would you do that though? But he does, and it's just okay, why are you doing this? I mean, isn't your thing just to do the job and leave? But we soon see that there may be some sort of rationale for why he did that, as far as his history that I will get into later. But we see the story progress. He has to defend the child on different areas. He goes to this planet to defend a village, and then there's this weird episode that I feel felt so out of place with the series. And this is my one major gripe with the series, is that there's this episode where the Mandalorian reunites with Bill Burr and a couple of other people, and to go on this like mission, and it just felt so like out of place from the rest of the story. Um, and I feel like it was enjoyable and it was executed well, but like it really just like was like a side story away from what was like the main part of the story that felt a little like disconnected, I guess. Um, so like he's trying to protect this child, and then all of a sudden he lands on this like ship and he teams up with these guys and like it's like this whole thing. It kind of reminded me like some people haven't seen it, but like Stranger Things season 2 when like 11 like visits these like weird group of people to find out her origins, and she like wasn't with like the main characters, she was with these like other characters. It kind of reminded me of that. Like a lot of people didn't like that, and like it's kind of in the same vein with this. Is like I don't know, but I still enjoyed it though. So like it's not terrible. It's not like a really big like hit to the overall show. And I love Bill Burr in that. Actually, Bill Burr is really fun to watch, especially. Where it really gets interesting is in the final 2 episodes, because you have this like droid who is like basically reprogrammed to protect these people, which is interesting because at first he wasn't a droid that was protecting them. He was one that was supposed to destroy them, but he was reprogrammed so that he could protect them. And like my whole thing is like when he sees that droid, he's like you're the droid that was going to kill him. Like, but okay, like how do you know that though? Because there could be like other droids that look just like him. So like, why are you being like, oh no, it's that droid? Like, I mean, I guess supposedly that specific type of droid is like designed to kill, but yeah, I mean that's just like a little thing that got to me. But I mean, it is cool to watch him like that droid protecting them, and everything they go through is super exciting with Carl Weathers' character and the Mandalorian. But essentially, after that, how you have this whole ensuing attack from like this Imperial army, basically, which is like a callback to like the original like Empire, essentially in a way, with all these like stormtroopers and this guy Gideon, who essentially like puts them in a corner, and they have to like face off against them, and there's just like so many cool things that happen here. Um, so yeah, like with this progression of the story, we see that as a child, the Mandalorian, or who we see as the Mandalorian, was basically left alone, and he was taken. He was taken by the Mandalorians and raised. So I feel like maybe that's the reason why like he wanted to save the child, because he felt like kind of in a similar position where like he was a helpless child who was all alone, so he had to like save him. So I feel like that is a cool connection that you can make there. So I kind of respected that. Um, and now like now that I've kind of like gone through the whole series, there's like some really just like amazing moments in this series, I gotta say. Like when the Mandalorian takes off his helmet in front of the droid, because the droid is not like a living thing. So I'm like, oh man, they really just went there. But like, it was so great. Like when you watch him finally take off his helmet at the end, and you see Pedro Pascal, and you're like, oh my god, he actually did it. Because he was gonna die if he didn't take off his helmet. With that being said, the weird thing was that like you couldn't tell like what part of his face or whatever was hurt. It was just like his whole head was like bleeding, I guess, or his brain was damaged. Like I don't know, but nonetheless, really cool moment. Other cool moments were like when the droid has the child strapped to him, and he's just like shooting all the stormtroopers around him, or like towards like one of the beginning episodes when like the Mandalorian is fighting on Navarro, he like gets on this like gunner ship and just like guns all these people down. There's just like so many cool like awesome moments that like as a Star Wars fan you're just like, wow, this is amazing. Like, and when like the child like uses the Force to like levitate the Mudhorn, um, and like it is like separate from the series, but like there's a lot of like cool like callbacks to the original. Like they allude to the Jedi, which is like really cool. Just like little things like that they put in. I really love this show. It's just like really fun to watch, really easy to watch. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. If I had to give it a rating, I would give it a, I'm gonna say 9.6 out of 10. Um, yeah, and just with like the whole like Bill Burr episode with that like other group, that was like the real big thing, I guess. And like I will say there are times in the show where like deaths and like things that happen to characters like aren't quite depicted like so brutally as much as I wish they would be. I know it is like Disney and they're not supposed to like be like overly gory and violent, but like at the same time, like with certain things that happen to characters, I'm just like they could have showed a little bit more with that. I felt like specifically like one like thing that I wanted to call out was like when he was with that crew on that like weird standalone episode, like he doesn't kill those guys. He just puts them in prison. So I'm just like, why did you do that? Because like he like finds each and every one of them, but he doesn't kill any of them. He just like puts them in a prison. I'm just like, okay, like what was the need for that? So I'm like just like little things like that sometimes. Where I'm just like, they could have done a little bit more, but that's just Disney for you, I guess. I mean, I guess I didn't like super enjoy it the whole time, but like, yeah, it's mostly like really great otherwise. So yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like if you have, and I'll see you guys in the next video.